Hey, thanks for joining me. So, you're running WebSphere, and you've got a mix of traditional and modern applications. What if I told you there's a good chance you're sitting on a hidden inefficiency in how you're licensed? Today, we're going to uncover that and, more importantly, show you how to flip it into a massive advantage. We're talking about getting way more value from the investment you've already made and really putting some fuel on your modernization fire. Let's jump in. Here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at your current setup, your application landscape. Then we'll pinpoint that little licensing mismatch I mentioned. After that, I'll introduce you to the solution, show you the incredible value it unlocks, and wrap up with what your path forward could look like. All right, let's dive right in with Section 1, your application landscape. We're just acknowledging the reality of where you are today. So right now, you've got this mix, right? You have your tried and true traditional WebSphere ND applications, and right alongside them, you're running modern, lightweight Liberty workloads. And let me just say, this is a smart strategy. It's exactly what you should be doing. You keep your critical systems stable while you innovate with these new cloud-native apps. You're definitely not alone here. This is the playbook for most enterprises. But as you know, running this kind of hybrid world has its own set of challenges. This quote from McKinsey really hits the nail on the head. Technical debt, it's this constant gravity that's always trying to pull you back, slowing down innovation, jacking up costs, and increasing risk. The real trick is to find ways to modernize it, actually reduce that debt, instead of just piling more on top. And this pressure isn't just internal. There's a lot of stuff happening out in the world that's forcing the issue. Java 8, end of support. That's creating some real headaches. And here's a big one. Open source libraries like Spring Framework 5, which are probably all over your code base, aren't supported by the community anymore. So to stay secure, you've got to move to Spring 6. And guess what? That requires Java 17, which in turn leads to your CISO saying, hey, we need to get off these older Java versions now. It's a chain reaction, and it's happening right now. So this brings us to the real heart of the matter today, this licensing mismatch. But I really want you to think of this not as some kind of mistake, but as a hidden opportunity for a huge optimization. Now, before we go any further, let's just quickly define one key term we're going to be using a lot, the Virtual Processor Core, or VPC. Just think of it as the currency for software licensing. It's the simple, modern way we measure capacity and cost, whether you're on VMs or in containers. Okay, this slide really shows the whole situation in a nutshell. Over on the left, you've got your license, IBM WebSphere ND Standalone. It's powerful, it's robust, and it was designed for those big, traditional enterprise apps. But then look at the right side. That's your reality. You're running those traditional apps, sure, but you're also running all these modern, lightweight Liberty apps. See the disconnect? The license was built for one thing, but you're using it for two very different things. And that leads to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Are you really, truly getting the maximum bang for your buck from your WebSphere investment when a big chunk of your workloads, your Liberty apps, are running under a license that was built for something else entirely? Well, that question leads us directly to the solution. So let's talk about enterprise runtimes. It's a modern license purpose-built for a modern hybrid workload, exactly like yours. So what in the world is IBM Enterprise Application Runtimes, or EAR for short? Well, think of it as this super high-value bundle. It's packed with the best runtimes and modernization tools from both IBM and Red Hat. But here's the key part. It's designed specifically for people like you, who are all in on modernizing applications but don't need or want Red Hat OpenShift bundled in. It's just the good stuff you need, nothing you don't. And when I say packed, I mean it. Look at what you get. The whole spectrum of runtimes from IBM and Red Hat, so you have total flexibility. You get powerful modernization tools like Transformation Advisor. And critically, you get two brand new, really cool capabilities: the Modernized Runtime Extension, or MO, and the Application Modernization Accelerator, AMA. Hang on to that MO one, we're going to come back to it. All right, now we get to the best part. Let's talk about unlocking more value. This is where we look at the hard numbers and the proof of how EIR can completely transform your efficiency. Okay, focus in on this table, because this is the heart of the whole thing. With your current ND license, everything's a one-to-one deal. One VPC you're licensed for lets you deploy one VPC of workload. Simple. Now look at the ratios with EAR. For Watts ND, yeah, it's still one-to-one. That makes sense. But drop down to WAS base. Suddenly, that same license gets you 5.5 times the capacity. And now for the grand finale. Look at the bottom row. For Liberty Core, for every single VPC of EAR you own, you can deploy 11 VPCs of your modern workloads. Let that sink in for a second. 11. Let's just put this side by side to make it crystal clear. Before, with your standalone license, you've got this inefficient 1-to-1 ratio for your Liberty apps. It's like using a sledgehammer to tap in a tiny nail. But after you switch to EAR licensing, boom, you can deploy up to 11 VPCs of Liberty Core for that same single VPC of entitlement. That is an 11 times improvement. I mean, just think about what that means. 11 times more capacity for your modern workloads without spending one more cent on your license footprint. This is the budget you've been looking for. This is how you fund projects. This is how you actually accelerate modernization. And hey, the value doesn't stop with Liberty Core. Even for your WASP-based workloads, you're still getting a massive 5.5 times improvement in capacity. The efficiency gain is huge across the board for your modern runtimes. You know, a really simple way to think about it is like this. ER is a brand new, super fuel-efficient engine for your modernization journey. With the old engine, 1 gallon of gas got you 1 mile. With this new engine, that same gallon of gas gets you up to 11 miles. You can just go so much further, so much faster, on the exact same budget you have today. Okay, so we've seen the numbers, we've seen the value. What does this all actually mean for you in practice? Let's map out your modernization path forward and see how this all translates into real-world innovation and cost savings. So your path forward becomes really clear. First, you optimize your costs. You just unlock this massive amount of capacity you were already paying for. That freed up budget and capacity, you pour that right back into modernization, moving more apps to Liberty way faster. Plus, you reduce project risk by using the included tools like AMA. And you get to simplify your whole world by consolidating everything under one super flexible agreement. And I have to come back to that more capability we mentioned earlier, because for your ops team, this is an absolute game changer. It lets them manage brand new, modern Java 17-based Liberty instances from the exact same WASAND deployment manager they already know and use every single day. This is huge. It means you can modernize your applications without having to totally change your operational model. There's no steep learning curve, no new tools to deploy. It just de-risks the whole process. So when you boil it all down, it's pretty simple. By aligning your license with the work you're actually doing, you unlock a ton of efficiency that you can pour directly into innovation. You get more capacity for the same cost, you reduce the friction for your operations teams, and you build a more flexible future. So the real question is, are you ready to turn a simple licensing change into your modernization accelerator?